Thank you. I'm Mr. Lehner and welcome back to Mr. Lehner's Math Extravaganza. Today I got my jacket on because we're visiting the Spice Shop today, so I'm ready to travel. Now, you might be asking yourself at home, what do you mean we're going to visit the Spice Shop over here? Well, basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding and subtracting mixed numbers. But we're going to be using some food, I know we always talk about food in here, using some food and some other examples to help us relate it to how it actually affects our actual lives. Let's not waste any more time. Let's take a look at an example problem. Okay, when adding and subtracting mixed numbers, let's take a look at this problem. It says Mr. Lehner's Cookie Count store is having a grand opening. Yeah, I know, kind of like the Cookie Monster. He buys 3 ads in the local newspaper. He uses 2 1/4 page ads, 3 1/8 page ads, and 5 1/16 page ads. What is the total amount of ads that Mr. Lehner brought? So, I want to advertise for my new cookie count shop. I want people to know about it, I want business to come in, so I'm going to take out some ads in the paper to try and advertise my store so that I can get customers to come to the store. So now I have to figure out, well, what's the total amount of ads or pages of ads that I have that I've taken out? And we have some mixed numbers in there. Remember, I have 2 1/4 page ads, I have 3 1/8 page ads, and 5 1/16 page ads. So I'm finding the total, so I know when I'm finding the sum I have to use, you're right, addition. We have to use addition to find out our total numbers. So, what I notice is that I have a 4th, I have an 8th, and I have a 16th. I know that 16 is a common denominator between all those 3 fractions, so I'm going to use 16 as my denominator. So if I have 2 1/4, well, I know if I have 1/4 and 1/4, that's the same thing as 2/4. 2/4 is the same thing as a half. And if I'm using 16, 8/16 is the same as a half. Or it's the same as saying 2 1/4 there, 2 1/4. So 8/16 would be the first set, that first fourth of an ad. Next I have 3 1/8. Well, if I know that I have 3 1/8, well, I have 3 8ths. Well, if I'm working with 16ths and I double the 8 to get 16, I have to double the 3, my numerator, to get 6. So it becomes 6 16ths. And then lastly, if I have 5 1/16ths of an ad, that leaves me with 5 16ths. I already have that same denominator. Well, to find the total now we have to add. So 8 16ths plus 6 16ths plus 5 16ths would equal 19 16ths. Well, that's an improper fraction. I can turn it into a mixed number. So, if I take 19 16ths, 16 goes into 19 one time, with 3 16ths left over. Now don't forget to put the unit. So Mr. Lehner took out 1 full page and 3 16ths of another page. That's how many pages he took out for his ad. Again, I took my mixed numbers, I added them together, I made common denominators in there to make my life a little bit easier when adding these mixed numbers together. You know what's coming up. It's now your turn. Here is a problem I'd like you guys to solve at home. Gavin and his friend Daniel eat a pie. I know, food, delicious. Gavin eats 1/8 of the pie, and Daniel eats 4/16 of the pie. How much pie is left? Go ahead and make sure you got your pencil, get that paper ready to go, pause that video, and we'll see what you come up with. Okay, in this problem, again, I'm going to look at my denominators. I see 8ths and I see 16ths, so I know that I can find the common denominator between 8 and 16. I know that Gavin eats 1/8 and Daniel eats 4/16, and I'm trying to find how much of the pie is left. So I need to subtract the amount they ate from the total to figure out what is left. Well, let's take a look. I'm going to make the common denominator 16. If Gavin eats 1/8, and I want to make this out of 16ths, well, if I double the 8 to get 16, I have to double 1 to get 2. So that becomes 2 16ths. Daniel's already in 16, so I'm just going to leave him as 4/16. Now, together, if I add these two fractions together, that would equal 6 16ths of the pie. So together they ate 6 16ths, which means that there must be 10 16ths or 5/8 of the pie left. I subtracted 6 16ths from the total. Well, you might be asking yourself, well, how did you come up with the total, Mr. Lehner? Well, let's think about it.
If the pie is cut into 16 equal parts, how many 16ths becomes a whole? You're right. 16 over 16 is the entire pie. Well, if we ate 6 pieces out of that total, 6 16ths of it, that leaves you with 10 16ths left. An equivalent fraction of 10 16 could be 5/8. Either answer works. 5/8 and 10 16ths are both equivalent fractions. Thank you for tuning in to another delicious, famished episode of Mr. Lehner's Math Extravaganza. As always, we'll see you next time.